On today's episode of Force Fridays, we turn the budget YJ into a hovercraft. Because where we're going, we don't need roads. Holy moly, guys. All of this is what 10 grand can get you. Anyways, let's get into it. So, let's start over here, wheels and tires. Wheels, donated from the guys at Dirty Life. Those are our homies. You guys know this, you know we work with them all the time, go to shows with them. So this video here is sponsored by Dirty Life Wheels. So if you guys need wheels, beadlock, regular wheels, whatever, hit us up. We will get you the best deal possible out there. No questions asked on Dirty Life Wheels. They make all kinds of wicked sick wheels. We run them on all of our rigs. They hold up. They're relatively well priced compared to some of the other ones out there. They have killer like new designs. They're not like old school style. So anyways, we got a set of their beadlocks in a polished aluminum for this. We might end up powder coating them. I'm not sure. We're still working on the colorway a little bit for this thing. So those are them. Then 37-inch Nitto trail grapplers. Now, why 37s? I'll tell you. In front of me here is a set of JK axles, non-Rubicon. These came out of my Sahara, so we can take them off the budget. They were free. So 44 rear, 30 front. Now, the reason we're doing this seems crazy to most people, because why waste our time with this front axle? You know, the rear is open, but we can throw gears in there and a locker, no problem. It's gonna hold up. The reason we are doing this is because every single person that comes into our shop doesn't have a Rubicon and they want to run 37s on a JK. So we are going to torture test this thing. We're going to put it through its paces, see what is actually, you know, capable for the trails around here. A lot of people have an opinion on you can't go higher than 35s, but so many people are running 37s on this axle. We want to see how well it'll hold up, how long it'll hold up, what's going to break, what's not going to break, how we can upgrade it without spending too much money, and if we get to that point where it's on the threshold of just buying a new axle. So we're gonna get all that data for you guys. That's gonna be a whole nother series upcoming as we slowly upgrade this axle, see how much it costs, see if it's worth upgrading your stock axle or changing out to a Rubicon axle or some sort of crate 44. So that's why we are doing this. For now, we're going to start out just by re-gearing these axles. We are not going to do lockers. We're just going to re-gear. This is a budget build. That's another reason we went with these axles. They were free. It gets rid of the disconnect style front axle and the C-clip style front axle that the YJ has. So it also is a little bit wider, which will get us a little bit cooler stance. It'll also help us out with the trees and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. I haven't seen anyone else do this on the internet. So that's pretty cool. That's what's going to be happening under the new suspension, which we are tackling today. Okay, I digress. Some of the other things we got. Now, the biggest sponsor, besides Dirty Life, of this whole series is GenRight. They hooked us up with a whole bunch of stuff. We have aluminum front fenders, aluminum corner guards, aluminum rear fenders. We have a roll cage. Now, remember, this whole build was inspired by the guys at GenRight for them doing their budget YJ for $10,000. They did a lot of things differently than we're gonna do. We're gonna do some of the same stuff, some different stuff, but it's gonna be pretty cool. There's gonna be a lot more, you know, subtleties to ours than to theirs, and it's gonna be neat. It's gonna be interesting to see, you know, how it stacks up to theirs at the end of the day. But anyway, so big shout out to those guys at GenRight, Tony, Jeff, thank you guys so much. This is just a Baja Design box. These are leftovers from a build, so those were free. Not sponsored, but we have some in there. BDS, they came on board, helped us out with the suspension. So we are doing a 2.5-inch lift. That's what we're doing in this video today. Gonna keep it nice and low. These fenders are gonna help out with that because these are the high line fenders. So as low as possible on 37s. That's kind of our whole goal. Then Revolution, you guys know whenever we do gears and axles, we use Revolution gears. It's a company we stand behind. They work really well. The price point's unbelievable. It's a high quality product. We put them in all of our vehicles. Natalie has them in hers. So if you guys need gears, Revolution, thank you. They're the ones that sent this stuff out. Gears, some diff covers and stuff like that. So thank you, Revolution. These other big boxes, roll cage. That's right. This thing's getting a whole GenRight roll cage. And you might think that that's kind of ridiculous for a budget build, but safety is very important. So you can't really put a price on that. So we're gonna move all this stuff, get things cleaned up, and we're gonna get this thing on the lift. And as we go through each video, it's gonna be sponsored by a different one of these companies. Like I said, this video is sponsored by the guys at Dirty Life. Thank you guys so much. So if you guys need Dirty Life wheels, let us know. But yeah, we're gonna get all this stuff put back and get this on the lift, start doing some stuff. Let's do it. Okay, so real quick before we get this thing completely blown apart, let's talk about a couple things here. So YJs come with a track bar, which is weird because they're leaf sprung. So, you know, theoretically the axle can move side to side if you don't have a track bar, you know, on leaf springs, but I have the opinion that it's kind of janky, especially with whenever you lift it, like this person has. By the way, this is I think a 4-inch lift of some kind. It comes with this weird kind of bracket to extend it up to correct the geometry, but you're really playing with a lot of stuff that shouldn't be played with. So we're gonna get rid of the track bar. No track bar on this. It's gonna allow it to flex a lot better, and it's gonna be one less moving part. I noticed that in the rear, the track bar is already missing, so that's good. A couple other things. This steering, we're gonna have to do something special with, so I'm just gonna drop the drag link from the pitman arm, and I'm also going to just basically disconnect the drive shaft, disconnect the springs, bleed the brakes, drop this whole axle spring onto a cart and wheel it out of here. We're not gonna deal with disconnecting a whole bunch of stuff. We're just gonna drop the whole thing because we're not really reusing any of this. So that'll save quite a bit of time. We're not even gonna use those drive shafts. So that'll be done. The other good thing is, like I said, we're getting rid of this axle disconnect, which will be a lot stronger than this. And then in the rear, we're also gaining disc brakes. So that's kind of cool. So we're gonna tear this apart and time lapse all this and get it blasted out of here. Let's do it. So what you're seeing here is live in action, the Jeep Life, guys. This is the Jeep Life in a nutshell. You buy something, whether it's brand new or 20 years old, you tear everything apart, you work all day, and you spend months and months and months earning a paycheck to buy new parts to put it on because none of the stuff that came on it was good in the first place. But hey, better than on a Toyota, right? boys, so now that we've got all the old stuff torn apart, we got that 4-inch lift out of there, stock axles out of there. Now, let me show you what we're gonna put in its place. All right, guys, so we got new stuff going in. Now, keep in mind, this is on a budget. This kit was, I think around 850 or 900 bucks, and it came with 4 new leafs. It came with new shocks, drop brackets. It came with U-bolts, nuts, replacements. It came with bushings, new sleeves. It does have the track bar relocation brackets, which we are not using, so we're not putting the track bars back in. So this is from BDS. As you guys can see here, no fine print warranty. So they take care of their customers. We are a BDS dealer. They hooked us up with this. So if you guys need BDS stuff, we just put a kit on a 2024 Super Duty. It came out awesome. They make a really high quality product at a really nice price. So that's the BDS suspension. Now, all of this stuff over here you see is from Rough Stuff. So basically, called those guys up, told them what we were doing. They make tons and tons and tons of brackets and suspension components and links and trailing arms even, all kinds of stuff. We are also a dealer for those guys. They, incredible price point. So if you're trying to like 4-link something or do a solid axle swap, the prices are just unbelievable. So check those guys out. If you guys need help figuring out what you need for their project, let us know. But here we have their axle swap spring under conversion kit. So it comes with new U-bolts. It comes with these U-bolt brackets. It comes with these axle mounts. So this basically goes in here. This mounts on the axle. This goes like this. U-bolts go through here, bolt everything in. This cage sits underneath the axle, so it'll sit like this. So the U-bolts will go down through here and then stick out here. So you cut them, the nuts go in here, and this little cage protects everything from getting ripped off and scraped and stuff like that, unlike factory U-bolts. So that's kind of cool. These plates here, they're just like a support, a stiffener. It gets welded on here. All of this stuff is all bent, but it needs to be finished welded. So all these little spots here, we need to go through, fully weld those. So that's how we're gonna do this. Now, what is all this going on? What axles are we putting under here? Let me show you that right now, because that's kind of unique and honestly, one of the main reasons we're doing this. So let me show you that. Okay guys, so this is what we're putting in the budget YJ. Now, this is why we are pretty much doing this entire project. Let me explain. So these came out of my 2015 Sahara. So 44 rear, 30 front, no lockers. It's got the standard gearing, standard axle shafts, standard brakes, standard everything. So this is the primary axle package that most people in the state of Maine have. They all come in with brand new JKs and they want to run 37s. So we want to put these under this because it is a budget. Excuse me, I'm working. Okay, so as I was saying before my colleague rudely interrupted me, we want to put these under the budget YJ. Now, we are running 37-inch tire on this. We are going to re-gear these. So basically we want to torture test these. I'm going to be driving this thing around Maine and wheeling it on all the trails that most people are going to be wheeling it on. I'm going to test what breaks, what doesn't break, how well these actually hold up, because there's a lot of stuff on the internet. People say all kinds of things, but everyone wheels a little bit differently. We wheel pretty hard, so I'm going to put them through the test. As things break, I'm going to upgrade them. I'm going to keep track of all of the costs that I put into these axles. Then, once we kind of feel like, okay, they're holding up to the 37, nothing's breaking, we're gonna add all that up and we're gonna see if it's worthwhile to upgrade these or to just sell this front axle and get a Rubicon 44. So, or something else. But that's kind of like why we're doing this. Also, we're doing it because we get full disc brakes, we get rid of the front axle disconnect. These are a little bit wider, the tubes are much thicker, so it's gonna be a much better axle for what we're trying to do with the YJ, and keep it on the budget, these were free. So, there you go. So, we've cut all the brackets off, we need to clean them up a little bit more, and then we're gonna get them underneath the YJ. Let's do it. All right, guys, so we got the axles kind of on the leafs here, and we immediately realized that with these tires, we're gonna get into this. So Eric basically took this mount here, and you can see the first hole, this one here, is the one that it comes with. We just basically drilled another hole an inch back that'll move the axle back ever so slightly, which will hopefully kind of alleviate that. If it doesn't, we're gonna do some trimming anyway, but we got some other tricks up our sleeve. But the whole goal of this is to keep it low and on 37s. So we're gonna try that, see how it goes. All right, so we got the rear axle bolted in. This is the kit from Rough Stuff, the spring under axle kit. So the U-bolts, everything all tightened up, just mocked up for now so we can get it on its own weight again. But yeah, rear axle is in place, looking good. All right, boys, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the Budget YJ. Suspension is in. The BDS guys, they took care of us. I think this 2.5 kit is gonna work out just fine. So anyways, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Guys, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. You can't have an episode sponsored by a wheel company and not put the wheels on. So we're gonna get these bead locks inflated, the tires ready to go, and we're gonna get this thing down on its own weight in this episode. Okay, so as you guys know, this video is sponsored by Dirty Life Wheels. So we're here at the Force Motoring wheel wall, or the start of one. And this is the wheel we're gonna be running on the YJ. This is the Canyon Race beadlock in machined, and it is sweet, boys. But the only problem is when I designed this wheel wall, I put that one up there just as a placeholder, and the big problem is you got to remove that wheel to get this wheel off, to get that wheel off. So I got to remove all three of these wheels, so bear with me. So, I don't know if I ever mentioned it, I was definitely talking about the Dirty Life beadlock wheels. Shout out to Dirty Life, thank you for sponsoring this video and this build. These are the Dirty Life Canyon Race wheel beadlock. If you guys need a set, hit us up or hit Dirty Life up. But I digress. I don't know if I mentioned the 37s that are on this. So, Nitto Trail Grappler, 37, 12.5, R17. Thank you, Nitto, for helping us out with this video. These bad boys are pretty much the main reason we're doing this build. JK axles, non-Rubicon, 37-inch tire. Everybody wants it. Can it do it? We are going to find out. That's going to be kind of a spin-off series of this. What can a stock Jeep JK axle handle for a tire? Let's end the debate right here with this build. So that's why they're on there. That's also why we have to do so much finicky stuff to fit a 37-inch tire on a 2.5-inch lift on a YJ. So, if I didn't mention it before, that's what you need to know. So if you have a keen eye, there's definitely some stuff we need to finish up and fix and fine tune on this. Of course, there's no shocks in here right now. We're doing that because the pinion angle on these axles we haven't really fully set. We also need to figure out some sort of new tie rod, whether it's like switching to maybe a high steer to get around these springs. We got to do some more work on this driver's side plate to hold everything. It's just kind of in there right now. We're going to build some sort of bracketry and I think do like a U-bolt delete style on that. We're definitely going to need to do some trimming. So I have here marked out where I think we're going to trim on that to get more up travel, and then we're going to trim on the back side as well. But we have those nice GenRight corner guards to go on there, so that'll give us some room there. We need to build custom shock mounts for the top, for the upper frame side, because the factory ones were rusted out, and we're going to try to do some trick stuff to get that to go. Again, we need to set the pinion angle on this. We just wanted to like kind of prove concept here with this 2-inch lift to make sure everything was jiving. And we wanted to get it on its own weight. So yeah, like I said, these fenders are just mocked up. Next episode, we will be installing these beautiful aluminum GenRight fenders. And yeah, looking good though, boys. All right, boys, so in every episode, I'm gonna have my lovely assistant here. What's your name again? Natalie, also known as Lady Rubicon, help me figure out where we are on the budget. This is way outside of our normal range. So why don't you write budget on the hood there? And we're gonna get into this, fellas, if you know what I'm saying. Just, you got that? Okay, so we're gonna start out with the price of the Jeep. So I actually traded this Jeep for something. And I didn't have a lot of money into the thing I traded it for. So I actually traded a Snap-on toolbox for this Jeep. I paid $1,500 for the Snap-on toolbox. So the price of the Jeep is $1,500.
This is my first time riding.
It's okay. We just picked her up, guys. She's new. She's new. So na 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 na. Okay, so we got the price of the Jeep on there. $1,500. It's a very creative $1,500, and that's actually how we bought the Jeep. It was very creative.
I'm gonna be better next time.
Okay, so the next thing from this video is the suspension. So the suspension from BDS. Shout out to the guys at BDS. They did hook us up with a little bit of a deal on here. Now, this is where this whole budget thing gets a little creative. Now, I am a dealer, so I get a percentage off on all of this stuff. So I'm able to stretch this budget a little bit, but I'm going to give the full retail cost on these things. So $800 for the suspension, roughly. Okay, so the next thing is axles. And the axles, we actually didn't pay anything for because these are the axles from my green Jeep, the factory JK axles. They're out of Sahara. So those were free, so that's good, $0. Next thing is the Dirty Life Canyon Pro Canyon Race beadlock wheel. Now these cost $1,400, but the boys at Dirty Life sponsored this video, so we got the wheels for free. So you can cross that off and just leave it as 0. So the next thing from this video is the tires. And the tires are Nitto Trail Grapplers. They are a 37, 12.5, R17, and those are $1,900. Okay, so far we got $1,500 for the Jeep. What do we got next?
Suspension $800.
Suspension $800.
Axle 0.
Axle 0.
Wheels technically $1,400, but thank you, Dirty Life.
0.
And tires $1,900.
So as of right now, boys, we are at $4,200 for the Jeep, axles, tires, and wheels, and suspension. So we're doing pretty good on the $10,000 goal. So like I said, every episode we're gonna do this. We're gonna hopefully have enough room to go all the way down the hood. If not, we'll have to move to the other side. But anyways, until next episode, boys, we'll catch up with this. My lovely assistant will be back next episode. But
It'll be better.
Yeah, from now on, you're not allowed in the shop until you get better at that. Anyways, we'll see you next episode, boys.